This conference will now be recorded.
So today let us move to the next topic of the servlets. Let us develop an application, that is login application. So this is very important. So we will be referring to this application in future also when we come to Spring Framework. So compulsory you practice this. Now what we are going to do in this login application, let us understand using a diagram. Login application. Now, when we go with login application, what we accept from user? Username and password. So for that, let us create one welcome page. The first page what we display to the user, we call it as welcome page. Let us go with the name login.html. In this login.html, we are going to accept username, password, and one login button. And we'll create one hyperlink, new user, register. And new user, register. Now, here we go with the text fields for username and password field and one login button. Now, so let us initially go with this register. When you click on this hyperlink register, we'll connect to a HTML file, that is register.html. Register.html. In this register.html, we are going to accept the details like the name of the user, the name, username, password, and one button, register. Now, here we go with the text fields for name, username, password, and register button. Now, let us fill some data, like let us go with the name of the user. Then we'll go with the username like Raj123 and password also like Raj123. When we click on register, now when we click on register here, see here. So when we come to this login.html, when we click on this register hyperlink, it connects to register.html. In this, we are accepting name, username, and password. Now, when we click on register, where these details need to be stored? The details need to be stored where? In database, right? Our details will be registered in the database permanently. So let us consider we are having a database here. Let us go with the database table. Let us go with the name of the table like users table. Here, let us go with the columns. The column names are like name, username, and password. Now, so what are the details we have filled in this register.html? These details we want to insert into this users table. So from HTML, can we connect to database tables? Not possible. So this is the place where we have to use server-side applications, the backend applications. Like in our case, we make use of servlets here. So Which technologies we can use? We can connect to this database using what? Servlets or JSP or Spring MVC like that. So related to web applications. Now when you click on register, we'll connect to a servlet, register servlet. We'll connect to a servlet here, register servlet. So what this register servlet is going to do, it's going to take our details and inserts these details into the database table. It's going to insert our details, the name, the username and password. So what operation you are doing here? Insert operation. Insert. So write operation you are doing. Now after inserting the record into the table, we want to display the response back onto the browser. That is registered successfully. Then we'll create one hyperlink. Click here to login. Now when we click on this hyperlink here, we'll connect back to this login.html. Right? Clear up to here what we are doing in register? Any questions? Now coming to this login.html, here we go with the username like Raj123 and password Raj123. Now once we click on login, what we need to do? We need to connect to this table and check whether that user is present in the table or not, whether that user is registered or not. So for that what we do? We connect to a servlet, that is LoginServlet. And what LoginServlet is going to do? It is going to connect to the table and checks whether that user is present in the table or not. So what operation? So read operation means we go with what? Select command. We use select command, read operation here. Now, so once the user is present, means if the user is authenticated, success scenario. If it is success scenario, if the user is authenticated, then we are going to display the response back onto the browser. Welcome, we'll say here welcome, and the name of that user. For this Raj123, what is the username? Sorry, what is the name? Raj. So for based on the user, we'll pull out the name and we display this name over here. Then we create one hyperlink. Click here. To login. Right? Now when you click on this hyperlink, again we'll connect back to this login.html. If it is failure, means if the user is not present in the table, if it is failure, we are going to display the response back onto the browser, login failure, and again we create hyperlink. Click here to login. Right? Click here to login. Now, so when you click on this hyperlink, again we'll connect back to this login.html. Okay, so let me just recap once again what we are going to do in this application. So in this login application, first we display this login.html where we accept the username and password. and one login button. Here we are having first new user register. If the new user register, so when you click on this hyperlink register, will connect to register.html. In register.html, we are going to accept the details from user like name, username, and password. Once you fill these details, when you click on register, will connect to RegisterServlet. The RegisterServlet will take your data and inserts that data into the table. These details are inserted into this table using what? Using RegisterServlet. Now, after that, we'll go with the response registered successfully. Click here to login. When you click here, it will go back to login page. Now, in this login.html, if you enter username and password, and when you click on login, will connect to LoginServlet. LoginServlet will check whether that user is present in the table or not. And if it is present, we display the name of the user. So for this user, what's the name? Raj. Then again hyperlink, click here to login. If it is failure scenario, we'll say login failure, again hyperlink to go back to login page. So this is the application what we are going to develop now. Right? Now, the first step, we go with the database. The first step, we have to go with the database. So what you do? Create a table users in MySQL. Open MySQL prompt and say create table users, name of the user, varchar of 10, then username, varchar of 10, then password, varchar of 10. Right? Now, let us create this table first. Open MySQL. Password is root. And what is our database name? Use Java 11. Our database name is 11. Java 11. Then now create table. Create table users, name of the user, varchar of 10, then username, varchar of 10, then password, varchar of 10. Now the table has been created. Now this is our database site. Now the next step, let us go with the welcome page. Create a welcome page. The first page what we display to the user, we call it as welcome page. Create a welcome page, login.html in web project. Login.html. Now right click on web project and say new HTML file, login.html. Design the form. Form action equal to web project slash login servlet. Which servlet you want to connect? Login servlet. And since we are accepting passwords, we'll say method as post. Now, what we need to accept here? Username, input type equal to text, name equal to username. By using the names only, we can read form data. Then password, input type equal to password, name equal to password. Input type equal to password, name equal to password. Then next one login button. Input type equal to submit, value equal to login. Now, so when you click on this login button, we'll connect to LoginServlet. Now we create one hyperlink. New user ahref equal to register.html register. Now when you click on this hyperlink register, it is going to connect to what? Register.html. Right? Now Now we have done with this one, This one is completed. Now generate now register.html. Now the next step, create a HTML file register.html in web project. Register.html. Now right click on web project and say new HTML file register.html. Now here design the form action equal to RegisterServlet web project / RegisterServlet method equal to post as we are accepting passwords. Now go with the name of the user, input type equal to text, name equal to name, input type equal text, name equal to name. Then username, input type equal to text, name equal to username. Then password, input type equal to text, name equal to password. Then one input type equal to submit, value equal to register. Now when we click on this register button, it is going to connect to what? RegisterServlet. Now what we have done with this page also. This one is done. Now what we need to do, whatever the data we have filled over here, these details we want to insert into the table. So who is going to take care of that? RegisterServlet. Now the next important step is what? RegisterServlet. So now create a servlet, RegisterServlet in web project. RegisterServlet. This is the important piece of code. Right click on web project and say new servlet. In the class name, say here RegisterServlet. Then click on finish. Now import the related packages. Override doGet method and doPost method. In doPost we invoke doGet method. Now, so in order to make use of JDBC, in order to connect to database, we need to import which package? Java.sql package. Right? Now, what are the lifecycle methods of servlet? The lifecycle methods of servlet are init, service and destroy, right? So instead of service, it comes to doGet method here. Service method internally invokes doGet method. Now let us override the lifecycle methods, that is public void init. This init method takes servlet config as an argument. In the last class we discussed servlet config. It's going to take the servlet config as the argument. Now what is the use of servlet config? I said it is used to read initial parameters from web.xml file to a particular servlet. Okay, so here in this example, let us provide the database connection details from web.xml file. So let us get the database connection details from where? From web.xml file. So go to this web.xml file where it is located under src, web app, webinf, web.xml file. So to this servlet, register servlet, we need to pass the database connection properties. So the init parameters. So in between the tag, wherever you see this register servlet, to that pass the initial parameters like this. Init param name, which we call driver class name. Then param value will say what is the value to connect to MySQL. What is the driver class? com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Go with one more init param name URL. Next one we call URL param value. What is that URL to connect to MySQL? jdbc mysql //localhost 3306. This is the port number where MySQL database server is running. And what is our database name? The schema name Java 11. So this we call URL. Next init param name username. What is the username to connect to MySQL database? Root. Param value root. Next init param name password. Then param value, what is the value to connect to MySQL database? The root user account password value root only. So username is root, password is root in my case. So these four we call it as database connection properties. So what they are? Driver, URL, username and password. Right? These four are details we are passing from where? From web.xml file. Now come to this register servlet. In init method, we need to load that database connection properties. So how to read the data? String driver equal to how to read the initial parameters from web.xml file by using config.getInit parameter of driver. That's it. So what are the value we have entered here? The driver value, this value, what is this? com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. It's going to read this value and stores into this variable driver. Similar way, read other database connection properties. String URL equal to config.getInit parameter of URL. Next one. String username equal to config.getInit parameter of username. String password equal to config.getInit parameter of password. That's it. So we have read the initial parameters from web.xml file. Now do the database connection. Go with try and catch block. So here how to load the driver class start for name and pass your driver. That's it. So when you say pass your driver, this value com.mysql, this value will be replaced at this driver place. Similar way, go with the connection. Let us create this connection object here outside in the class so that I can use this object in all the methods of your class. Now, go with connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection, pass your URL, username and password, right? So to get the connection, what data we require? URL, we need to pass the username and password. So with these two steps, we get the connection to MySQL database. And in catch block, handle the exception. Just display the value of here. That's it. Now what is the advantage of getting database connection from web.xml file is, here we are connecting to MySQL. Then we have written the code to get MySQL connection. In future, if I want to connect to Oracle database, do I need to touch this code? Not required. Just you have to go to web.xml file and only just to change this param values only. Just to change the param values. So now this code, whatever you have written, this is database independent to get database connection. only to get database connection, and need not change this code again and again. If there is a change in database, just go to web.xml file and change this param values. So that is advantage of sending database connection property details from web.xml file. So however, once we come to frameworks like Hibernate and Spring, we will be learning much more better ways of going with database connections. Right? Clear up to here? Any questions? And what is the advantage of doing database connection in init method? If I do database connection in init method is loaded only once. So for complete application, only one connection is required. If I do the same database connection in doGet method, then for every request, it is going to do database connection, which is not good. So one database connection, we can use it for multiple requests because init method is loaded only once. Next one, destroy. So in destroy, what we do? We do the closing operations. Try and catch block. We go with the closing operation. Right? Now, handle the request in doGet method. And in doPost, we are internally invoking doGet. Now, so what is our step here? Print writer out equal to response dot get writer. Import the package for print writer. Now see response dot set content type text/html. Now read the form data. String name equal to request.get parameter of name. We are reading the form data. Then string username equal to request.get parameter of username. String password equal to request.get parameter of password. So we are reading the form data. The data what you have entered in this register.html, name, username and password. So we are reading into servlet. Once we read this data, what we need to do? These details we want to insert where? What are the data we have read here? These details will come to RegisterServlet. RegisterServlet will take care of inserting the data into the table here. So now we have to go with the statement. Go with try and catch block. So here prepared statement st equal to con.prepare statement. So what command? Insert. Insert into users the table name, values. What values we have to replace? Name, username and password. So to pass this Java variables to SQL command, what is the syntax? Single quote, double quote plus the variable name plus double quote, single quote. So whenever you want to pass Java variable, the syntax is double quote plus variable name plus double quote. And why we are applying single quote? Because of varchar string type. Then say comma. Then similar way, single quote double quote plus username plus double quote single quote, comma, single quote double quote plus password plus double quote single quote. That's it. Okay. So this is our SQL command insert. So what is the data we are reading? These values we are inserting into the table. Now call the method st.executeUpdate. So when you call the method st.executeUpdate, the record will get inserted into the table. After inserting the record into the table, what response we should give onto the browser? We have to display the message registered successfully and click a hyperlink, click here to login. So once we register, the response what we should give out.println registered successfully. Now create one hyperlink out.println. Click here. Here is hyperlink. Anchor tag ahref equal to slash double quotes web project slash login.html here to login. So this here will become hyperlink. So when you click on this here, we have to connect to which page? Login.html, present in web project, right? Then in catch block, just display out.println the value of E. The exception if you are having, that will come and store into this E here. That's it. So this completes our register servlet. This is the major important piece of code. Clear with this register servlet? Any questions? Simple database code we are writing, JDBC. Now coming to the next one, this one, LoginServlet. So what we have to do? We have to check whether that user is present in the table or not using LoginServlet. If it is present, we have to go with this page, welcome the username, the name of that user and hyperlink. Failure means login failure and hyperlink to go back to login page. Now the next step, create a servlet, login servlet in web project. LoginServlet.java. So right click on web project and say new servlet. In the class name, provide login servlet. Say finish. Now in this, import the related packages. Let us go with java.sql package. Then create a class login servlet. Override the methods do get and do post. And in do post, we are internally invoking do get method. Right? Now, go with create a connection object here, connection con, so that we can use this object in all methods of servlet class. Now let us override the init method, which takes servlet config as an argument. Now here also we can provide the database connection details. Instead of going to web.xml file, read the data, here also we can provide database connection details directly here, like this. Class.forName, what is the argument to connect to MySQL? com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. You should remember this, will be keep on using. Then con equal to driver manager dot get connection jdbc colon mysql colon slash localhost colon 3306 slash java 11. Our database name, username is root, password is root. So with these two steps, we get the connection to MySQL database. Import the package for servlet config. Then override destroy method. Just what you have to do, con.close, the closing operation, right, in destroy method. Now handle the request in doGet method. In doGet method, first step, connect to the browser from where we got request. So print writer out equal to response dot get writer. Then say response dot set content type text slash HTML. So calling this method is optional, but to get the result properly in our browser, if you call this method, then there won't be any issues related to browser. Now read the form data. string username equal to request.get parameter of username, string password equal to request.get parameter of password. So we are reading the form data from login.html. Now what we have to do? Once we read this username and password, we have to check whether this username and password are present in the table or not. So for that, we are connecting to LoginServlet. LoginServlet is going to check whether that user is present in the table or not using select command. So now check it here. Try block. Say prepared statement st equal to con.prepare statement. Now use select command here. Read means select. Select star from users where username equal to your username, where username equal to this username. So to replace Java variable, single quote double quote plus the variable name username plus double quote single quote, and password equal to your password. How to replace this password variable? Single quote double quote plus password plus double quote single quote. That's it. Now say result set rs equal to st.execute query. So when you call the method st.execute query, based on this select command, if the user is present in the table, if the user is authenticated, then what will be the value of rs.next will be true, right? If there is a record in table, the value of rs.next will be true. If no record, false. Means if the user is authenticated, this method returns true. So if it is returning true, means success. What I should do, we have to take welcome the name of that user. So how to get the name of that user? Can say string name equal to rs.getString of what we have to take the name. What is the column name? Name. rs.getString of name. Now once we read the name of that user, now display out.println welcome the name of that user. After displaying welcome, now create one hyperlink. Out.println click here is hyperlink ahref equal to web project slash login.html here to login. So this here is hyperlink which connects back to login.html. Right? Now this is success scenario. Else we'll say out.println login failure, and we create hyperlink to connect back to your login page. Right? Then in catch block handle the exception. That's it. So this completes our login servlet. Clear this piece of code? Any questions? No? Next step, run the application login.html. We have to run the welcome page. Go to this login.html. Now run this. Click on this run button. So which is going to start the server, and here it is going to display the login page, username, password, login button, new user register. Now when you click on this register, it is connecting to register.html. Here we go with the name of that user, username Raj123, password Raj123. Now register. See, we are getting one exception, class not found exception, and even it's going to null pointer exception because we did not get the connection at all. We did not get the connection, and without getting the connection, we are using this connection object. So when you call the method con.prepare statement, so this connection object is null because we did not get the connection. Then if by using null object, if you access any members, what exception it is going to throw? Null pointer exception. That only we are getting here because the class is not getting loaded. So do you remember in JDBC? In JDBC, what setting we have done to make use of this class? We have downloaded one jar file, right? MySQL connector Java 8 version jar file, and we have added to the build path. Now here in this case, what we need to do is just we have to copy that jar file. Copy the jar file. I've copied into this our folder, Java programs folder. It can be anywhere. Copy this jar file. Copy this jar file, and we have to paste where in between in lib folder of web-inf. In lib folder of web-inf. Right click on lib folder and say paste here. That's it. Copy and paste work. We have to copy into what? Lib folder of web-inf. So if you are using any third-party external jar files, when you go with web applications, we need to add it to lib folder of web-inf because the server is going to look for jar files in lib folder of web-inf. Now, once we add this, now again run this login.html. It will ask you to restart server. Now go to register. Now type the name of the user, Raj. Username Raj123. Password Raj123. Now register. Okay, there was a spelling mistake. Here, MySQL. So there is a spelling mistake. See the console screen for exceptions. Then you can easily know what to do. Okay, what mistake you are doing. Maximum cases spelling mistakes. Now run your login.html again. Register. Name. Username. Password. Now when you click on register, see we get message registered successfully. Click here to register. Okay, if you click here again, it go back to login page. Again, let us register one more. Register. Let us go with the name Ramu. Ramu123. Password Ramu123. Now when you say register, so here we are getting password like this. Okay, no problem. Register. Okay, so registered successfully. Now check your table. Select star from users. See how many users we have created? 2 users, right? There. Now let us go back to login page. Now type the user Raj123, password Raj123. Now once we say login, since that user is present, we get see welcome the name of that user. For Raj123, what is the name? Raj. If you click here, again goes back to login page. If I say Ramu123, password Ramu123. Now once I say login, see we get see welcome Ramu. Based on the username, based on these details, it is pulling out the name of that user and displaying that user details on our browser here. Right? Now if you click here, if I go with ABCD, password ABCD, now if I say login, we get see login failure. Again click here to login. Right? Simple change. In register.html, here we have to type input type equal to password. Okay, I've mentioned text here. Here it should be password. Okay, that's it. Clear all of you this application? Okay, so what setting required here? Setting for login application. Not only for login application, if you are using any external jar files, we need to copy MySQL connector Java 8 version, any 8 version. that jar file into webinf lib folder. Okay, then only this application is going to work for you, right? So please practice this compulsory. And in tomorrow's class, we'll go with a new topic, JSP. JSP will go with 2 classes. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we work on JSP. Next week, we start off with the important part of our course, frameworks. Right. So any questions, anyone, before I close for today?
Hi, Raj.
Yeah, yes, Kiran.
Remember the web.xml file that I needed to create?
Yeah, you need to create manually. Right-click on webinf. Right-click on webinf and see new other XML file. XML file. Say next. Go with the name web.xml and finish button. Okay. Then you can just take my code and paste over there. Okay.
Okay. It's like I was trying to check the servlet code and everything. I cannot see anything in the source.
Right. So you need to copy my code and paste over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So thank you all and see you tomorrow with JSP. Thank you all.
Thank you.